The topic is expanding tremendously. Last time we spoke, there was about 110,000 people on my app. And if you look here, we're at 208,000. This
Wow.
represents just less than 1% of the flat earthers out there. So um,
Wow.
they're doing everything they can to stop the movement, as always. But it's hard to stop the genie when it's out of the bottle.
Yeah, it's gotten a life of its own there for sure.
Yep.
So let me just finish taking attendance here, and then we will get started. So this is our first Zoom of the year. So what I'm going to do is we'll introduce him, and I will flip the computer just so you can kind of look out into the class. This is being recorded, but images and names and everything are going to be deleted, so nobody will be able to identify you. So he's been doing this for a number of years, so appreciate him taking time to speak with us. So let me do this here. Let me do the flip. We're in a new room because my old room is being renovated. And so we're in a math room for right now. All right, everybody say hi.
Hey, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you for presenting to us today. Let me do this there. I'm trying to access the questions, so just bear with me a second here. So questions are okay. So I'm actually, let me do this. Okay.
I
So
can
I'm
pull
just
them
going
up
to
if you want, or you got
yeah,
it.
I'm going to print out a hard copy, and then I'm
Oh,
just going to run
perfect.
that. And then first question we're going to do is, and I know everybody's interested, is how did you get interested in involved in promoting flat Earth? What kind of made the light go on that, hey, we need to explore this?
Sure. So, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening to this topic, which most people think is completely ridiculous, including myself when I first heard it. I was investigating lots of deceptions in this world. Some people call them conspiracies, but they all end up being true over time. And people started sending me flat Earth stuff. Hey, Dave, have you looked into flat Earth? And I just thought it was a joke. Then it got annoying. I banned them for life. You're no longer allowed to comment or even watch our podcast. And then I was forced to look, and I didn't go in with an open mind. I went in with a closed mind. I'm just going to disprove flat Earth, prove the globe, and be done with this nonsense. And it's only when you look that you realize that everything you've been taught about this world is a lie, and it's a huge lie. And the big question that you're going to have right away is, why would they lie? We'll get into that. I'll finish that up right at the end of class. Um, so all flat earthers, and this map right here, this is showing you the people that have my app that are researching flat earth. This is less than 1% of the flat earthers in the world. Here's the United Kingdom. And so to think that this is just, only a few random flat earthers is just an incorrect thought. When you Google flat earth, if you Google top 10 reasons the earth is flat, Google's going to feed you top 10 reasons the earth is a globe, because they don't want you seeing the information that I have that is out there. If 10 flat earthers put up videos overnight and, and some globe earthers put up anti-flat earth videos, the only ones you'll find are the anti-flat earth videos, which is tells you something. Why are they hiding it? Why will they show you Loch Ness monster, fairies, whatever, any crazy, aliens? They'll show you anything, but flat earth, they hide it. Okay, so that should be red flag number one. So it's when I started looking into flat earth that it just proved it just proved to me that the earth is not a rotating spinning rocky ball. So we'll get to the questions in a second. I'm just going to start off with the basics. Here is a balloon at 120,000 feet. The earth should be spinning 1,000 miles an hour below it, spinning to the east. So the balloon goes up, the balloon should go west. I was up for 3.5 hours. It should land 3,000 miles out in the ocean, but it didn't. It landed east of where it took off. So how did it disconnect from the Earth? It rose up above the Earth. So it has to speed up just to keep up with the spinning of the Earth. And somehow it landed east of where it took off. Makes no sense. When you Google flat Earth, Google is going to feed you nonsense like this, like, hey, are we the only flat planet? Are all the other planets flat? The main image that comes up, people think of flat Earth. This is not flat Earth. Okay, this is a what they call a straw man to make you laugh at flat Earth, right? And you guys were all taught early on in life, before you had the ability to really think, that we live in a solar system. They tell us that all the planets orbit around the sun. So we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, which is unbelievable. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, and they don't bother to tell you that we're chasing the sun, according to the globe model, at over about 500,000 miles per hour. So we're moving just there's more motions than that, but those three motions are happening. They're all curved trajectories, speeding up and slowing down. But none of those motions have ever been measured. No one has ever proven any of those motions. And just to give you a relevance, if you look at the orbit of the Earth, this is NASA's hypersonic sled track. It just went by at Mach 8.6. That's 8.6 times the speed of sound, right? You can't even fathom this speed. Watch it again. And there, you can't even see it, but you have to believe that the lumpy rock surrounded by curved water, surrounded by high pressure air, adjacent to a void without a container, which is impossible, is moving 10 times faster than that around the Earth and chasing the sun at 100 times that speed. But when we go out in nature, we see lakes like this while this is going on. Okay. This doesn't make any sense. Most people just short circuit. They're like, I can't figure it out. I don't have a degree. Well, no offense to teachers. There's many good teachers, like your teacher here, who's giving you the ability to think outside of the box. But if you want to become a teacher, all you have to do is memorize and regurgitate, right? If you take the Rockefeller-funded textbooks, where the Rockefellers took over the education system in the early 1900s, and if you memorize and regurgitate it perfectly, you get a degree, and then you're certified. I can write the book of BS, give it to you guys. You guys could study it all summer. In September, you come back to school, we'll test you on it. Whoever gets 100 gets a degree in BS. So when you talk BS with your friends, they can't question you because you have a degree. So let's go into the questions, because I can talk forever. So where do you want to go?
Yeah. Let me just another question that is. If the Earth is flat, and maybe you've covered this, I just stepped out briefly, why do scientists insist on promoting a round Earth? I mean, if it's so obvious that the Earth is flat, why are we told all this about a round Earth?
That's a great question. So it's all about controlling humanity, right? If you had a pet lion and you had him in a 1/4-acre yard fenced in, he would be pacing back and forth. He would not be happy. So then you get a bigger yard. Let's say it's 50 acres. He'd probably still be pacing that fence. Put him in 5,000 acres. If he saw the fence, he'd probably just turn around and go enjoy his day. Put a human in 50 million acres. As soon as he sees a fence, he wants to know what's on the other side, right? So if we look at the world as a globe, the globe is a prison for your mind, right? It limits your possibilities, right? Because if the Earth is a plane, what is out in the outer space, right? In the outer space. So let me just show you what I mean by that, just to wrap your minds around it. So where is it? 1 second. So we go here, just let me type in maps. So if the world is set up like this, so large bodies of water at rest lie flat. You guys know this. Anything bigger than a cup of water, that overdoes the surface tension. And surface tension will make a drop, of course, make it round. But a cup of water or larger at rest lies flat, right? And so water needs containment. You can't have a pond without containment. A pond, the land is higher than the water all the way around. Now you have a pond. Well, the ocean is the same thing. The ocean's not on the outside of a spinning ball in a space vacuum, which is scientifically impossible. The ocean is just a pond. on a greater flat plane Earth. It's interesting that the word plane plus the word letter T equals planet. And then as you move from the center out, that's out south, no matter which way you're going, that's south. And at 60 degrees south, about where this line is, nobody is allowed to independently go out there. You'll be stopped by the military. There's no independent exploration of Antarctica. So how does that work? So you take that map and you cut it out, you wrap it around a ball, and you say, you're not allowed to explore this white area. They'll take you to this little peninsula here. They'll show you some penguins and some ice, but no one's allowed to cross out there. And they want you to think it's just a continent at the bottom of a ball, right? But what if the world was set up something like this? And again, we don't need to speculate what's beyond Antarctica to prove the Earth is flat, but there's a lot of evidence that there's more land out there. So if you had more land, right? Here's America, South America, get your orientation here. You got Australia. And there's more land out here, extra land, extra territory. If somebody lived on the extra terra, they might be considered an extraterrestrial from where? The outer space. This is all scientifically possible, but not necessary to prove that we live on a flat, stationary, non-rotating plane, like many CIA documents, disclosed documents say. All aircraft for the Navy and for airliners and stuff, all of their manuals, they say they treat the world as a level, non-rotating plane. Why do they do that? For testing. Well, because it's so big, This was a map that was found in a Buddhist temple 10 centuries old. It was published in, I think, 1907 in a Hawaiian newspaper, and it showed all of these continents out here. So if you want to if you think about all wars and conflicts in the world, they're all over resources and land and power. Well, what if you want to hide all of those continents, right? What if there's 1,000 continents? What if there's 1,000,000 continents? And they just told us there's, what do they tell us? 7, 8, whatever the number is. I don't even know anymore because it's a lie. So there's part of the reason why. And when you, if you think about it, we are at the center of creation. They want you to believe that you are insignificant and a random speck from evolution. Once upon a time, a big bang happened and then all of the rocky bits turned into planets, and all the gases, instead of violently filling the available space, they decided to collapse upon each other and make burning suns and stars and stuff, and they just burn forever, right? In a vacuum. Again, when you learn about science and physics, this is impossible stuff, right? And they want you to believe that you're insignificant, that you are a random speck, versus the fact that you have incredible, in your mind is an incredible thing. You have connections. I mean, we have telepathic, abilities that they've been hiding from us. And if you believe that you live on a ball, it literally puts your mind in a prison and disconnects you from the rest of the world. So there's a start.
Next question. Again, these are kind of our stock questions. Then we'll ask questions specifically came from second period. Are you a conspiracy theorist or conspiracy realist?
I'm a conspiracy analyst because, the difference between a conspiracy theorist and the truth is about 6 months, right? Because all of the stuff that I've been researching for the last 20 years, that I've been laughed at, I've been ridiculed, I've been, just hung out to dry, every single one of them has come true, right? Every single one has been proven true. And when it only takes time, I mean, if you believe in if you watch the news is here to steer your mind. The news is an acronym for North, East, West, South. It's here to steer your mind. And the mainstream news is all controlled to keep humanity controlled, right? There was a CIA director in when I heard this years ago, I'm like, everything. I couldn't believe it. So CIA director said, here we go. Where is it? Is it this one? I got a little low internet here. It should load in a second. There we go. CIA Director William Casey said, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." Now, I was like, everything? That's crazy. It basically is everything. I mean, there are no major events that don't have don't have serious issues. And I want to make sure we have like 5 minutes to talk about what I call the old world. And it'll blow your mind, and your history teachers aren't going to like it because it changes everything that they teach. So go ahead, next question.
I want to come back to that. I will come back to that. And yeah, I think you've already touched upon this. It's a question about Antarctica. How big is Antarctica, and why do we know so little about it? You did allude to the fact, though, that people are being prevented from really exploring Antarctica, and you feel that's because there's a plan to keep all the true nature of Antarctica hidden from us.
Well, if we were truly allowed to explore the North Pole and the South Pole, we would find that we don't live on a planet. So they can't have that. We used to have airships the size of cruise ships that hold thousands of people that cruise all over the world. This was just a couple of hundred years ago, but they demonized that with the crashing of the Hindenburg, which was another psyop to remove airships from our history. Right? There was an advanced civilization here. Just a couple hundred years ago that built the cities that we know today that were founded. You know, you look at all these buildings, founded in 1857. Was it builded or was it founded? And these buildings are here in every city, and you'll see them. And I'll show you where to find the resources to learn about them. But as far as Antarctica, Antarctica is is the shoreline of our world. Right, here we go. And if you look at the average height of every continent in the world, Antarctica is over double the height. Well, think about it. You want to contain the world pond, you need some high land. Antarctica is the land that circles our known world. And the question is, what's beyond there? How big is Antarctica? Did you say Australia? Or I know you said Antarctica, right? Antarctica. Antarctica is, Antarctica. Yeah. So when they show us Antarctica like this, they say it's 10,000 miles around. It's about 10 to 13,000. You can't get a straight answer, right? But if you try to draw a line around it on Google Earth and say, tell me the square area, it inverts and becomes like a crescent moon shape, right? But you can do it anywhere else except the North Pole and the South Pole. The two places that we really want to measure, they won't let you measure it. But all of these dots are all of the bases, right? And so the South Pole would be right here. And so off of Chile, there's a base over here. So what's funny is people from this base never meet up with the people at this base, right? Or the people at this base that go to the South Pole never meet up with someone here that goes to the South Pole. And the reason for that is because this isn't how the world is. We take this, we open it up like I showed you in that animation, and this is how all of the bases are. They're all along the shoreline. And so this base off of Chile here, excuse me, to go visit somebody in Australia on their base, it would take like 80 hours in a flight, right? And you just can't do that. So that's fascinating. Circumnavigation works east and west on a globe Earth and a flat Earth. Circumnavigation does not work south to north on a flat Earth. And no one's ever done it.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing. Let me ask one more question. That's kind of our standard question, and then I'll ask a question about the old world because I know you were very interested in that. And then we'll open it up for everybody to ask questions. The other question is there a moon and other planets in our solar system, and are there stars in other universes?
Well, so when you talk about other universes and stuff, they want you to believe that those lights that you see in the sky are stars and galaxies at incredible distances away. Think about this. So remember, we're corkscrewing through space. We're traveling 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before, right? They tell us that 80% of the stars in our galaxy are binary, which means they're orbiting each other while they're going around the galaxy. Some of them are trinary, which is, you can't even get into that. That's the whole three-body problem. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but you can't even model three bodies, let alone, billions of bodies. And all of this happens, but if you go out tonight and take a picture of the stars, go out on your deck or your driveway or whatever, take a picture of the stars, mark the time, and then next year or in 10 years, take the exact same picture at the exact same time, every single star will be in the exact same place. Never once have two stars changed position due to parallax because things are moving at different speeds at different distances, right? They tell us the moon is the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, but the sun is also 400 times farther than the moon. Therefore, they look like they're the same size, right? Cool. That's called scaling and variance, right? So if the sun was 200 times bigger than the moon and 200 times farther, they would look like they're the same size, right? So what we can do with that information is, okay, if the sun was just a mile over your head, it's 186,000 miles across, they tell us. If it was a mile over your head, it would fill the entire sky. You move it 93 million miles away, it's now the size of a coin held at arm's length, just like we see it. So it reduced in size. What happens if we double that distance? If we double it, it'll be a quarter of the size, according to, it's called the inverse square law, right? A quarter of the size. And if you doubled it again 4 times as far, it would be a 16th of the size. And if you doubled it again 8 times as far, it would be a 64th the size that we see. It would be like the size of a large star at best. Why is that important? Because so 8 times as far, they tell us the sun is 8 light minutes away from Earth. It means it takes that light 8 minutes to get to Earth. So we're measuring in light minutes, which is, again, it's a made up thing. So 8 times 8, 64, we'll call it a light hour. At a light hour away, if our sun was 1 light hour away, it would be the size of a star. If we doubled that, matter of fact, let's go 24 times that. We'll make it a light day away. It's provable that we could not see the sun with our eyes because the angular size and the brightness would be so small and dim that we couldn't resolve it. Why is that important? Polaris, which is our North Star that we can see with our naked eye, they tell us it's 46 times bigger than the sun. So if Polaris was 46 times farther than the sun, we couldn't see it, right? So if the sun was 1 light day away, so we'll make Polaris 46 light days away. Let's round up 2 light months. Give the globe every benefit of the doubt. At 2 light months away, you cannot see Polaris, but they tell us it's 433 light years away. Okay. Here's the problem. You were not taught to think about this stuff. What I just told you, if you lost me, you got to go back and listen to this again because it wasn't complicated. You're not stupid. It's stupid. All of the globe stuff is mental gymnastics. Excuse me. Mental gymnastics that make no sense. And people go, well, I don't have a degree. You know, the guy with a pocket protector and a lab coat who's a failed comedian, he told me, you know, that boats go over the horizon. I have to believe him, right? You have God-given common sense. Men are telling you nonsense. All right, next. I might have gone a little sideways there. Sorry.
Let me ask about, you wanted to talk about the old world. So we'll talk about that, then we'll open up for student Q&A.
Yeah, so where is it? 1 second. So when we look at when we look at like old buildings and stuff and what they tell us about these old buildings, it's wild, right? And on my website, flatearthdave.com, there's a button that says Old World Order. It's a 90-minute documentary. It's fantastic, and it'll change your life forever. And when you go into your history class, your teacher's never going to be able to say anything without you raising your hand and questioning him, right? So when we look at the old world, you have to believe the story on this building is it was built in like less than a year, before power tools, before trucks, donkeys and carts. With people with chisels built this, right? We couldn't even build this today, right? And so when you look at stuff like this building here, this building is actually half buried. It's much bigger, but for some reason it's buried, and we're finding buried buildings all over the world, everywhere. Incredible. And we see pictures of buildings like this. Look, the people, they're tiny. You can't even see them in the picture, right? And they're on horses and buggies. Did they build this? Right? These buildings are all over the world. They're in your hometown. They're everywhere. And the roads are covered with mud. So the question is, what happened? And there's a thing called the mud flood, which they won't teach you in history, which happened not that long ago. And most of the world was buried in mud, and they dug it out. Do these people on their horses and buggies look like they built these buildings? This is New York City, right? These buildings are hundreds of years old already. And this is from the 1800s. It looks like these people just moved into this area, right? And this is Washington, D.C. Look at this. This was here in the early 1800s. They don't teach you this in class. And there's actually another building below it that's still buried. Okay. And because they were doing renovation on this building, I think it's the Washington Memorial, it's called. And they found literally another building underneath it. They won't teach you about this stuff. This is the San Francisco World Fair in 1915, right? And this is an 1878 picture of San Francisco. And it's very hard to see here, but these two buildings are already here in 1878. But the official story is they built it in 1915. So we could just see lie after lie after lie. They won't teach you about giants in history class. They won't teach you about giants, right? They don't want you to know about that. They won't teach you about the giant bells that were all over Earth that they used to heal people with sound. They won't teach you about resonance and etheric energy. That all these buildings were machines and they were grabbing energy out of the ether. They won't tell you about this building. They got all these little shanty wood houses around it, but then you have these giant buildings that are all over the earth. If you look at all the college buildings, a lot of post offices and government buildings, they all have the same dome on them with the pillars and stuff all over the world. Like, how did that happen? How did that happen? So on my app, and you can actually find this stuff yourself. On my app, which is the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, there's a old world button, which looks like a dinosaur. By the way, dinosaurs are not real. And there's all sorts of stuff. But you can find this on YouTube. It's called My Lunch Break. Watch a couple episodes of that and then have a discussion with your history teacher. And it'll change the way you see the world. So I can go on and on about that, but let's go on to the next question.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to allow have you guys ask questions. I know you brought some questions yesterday, so I can always fill in with those if you need a refresher. What do you want to ask Flat Earth Day?
How does sundials work?
How do sundials work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the sun circles around the Earth. So the sun is small and local. So here's the sun. So let me stop it right now. The sun is approaching. So I'm on the East Coast here. So the sun is coming towards me. Wherever the sun is, if I called my friend in Brazil right now and said, "Hey, where's the sun and what time it is?" he would say it's noon, and the sun is directly above him. So the sun circles around the Earth, bringing its light and heat with it, and it migrates in between this outer yellow line, which is the Tropic of Capricorn, and the inner yellow line, which is the Tropic of Cancer. So it's over Cancer in June, so it's closer to the inner north, and we have our sun higher in the sky and warm. And then in December, it goes all the way out here, and we have our winter because the sun is farther away, lower in the sky, and it's cold. But Australia has their summer because the sun is closer to them. So a sundial just works with the circling sun. It works perfectly. And there's sundials in India that have been up for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years that work perfectly, but we're corkscrewing through space, going, never changing our position. Planets that we just had a planetary alignment the other day. Shouldn't all of those gravities have pulled on us and changed us, right? Look into what's called the three-body problem, and you'll see that you can't model three gravitational bodies because it goes into what's called chaos mode. So sundials work because the Earth is flat.
Jacob.
If the Earth is flat, then how is the whole world not in like daytime at one time and nighttime at another time?
Because the sun is local. The sun is local. It's a local light. Go into a dark room, get a light and hold it above a table or a floor on one side of the room, and you'll see that it only lights up one area of the room or of the table. So I'm just stalling as I'm trying to pull up an image for you. So that's not what I want to show you. So the optics, again, the optics of the sky are are not are complicated. So let me show you this. So this is what happened to my map. Second. All right. So if the Earth is a globe and the sun is a single source light, that sun can only light up half of the globe. Okay. It can only light up half of the globe. But the Weather Channel was showing that we had 70% of the globe lit on this day. So think about this. Okay. So that is impossible. And so here is let me just go back. Here is time and date showing us that we got California just about sunrise. South America is all in light. All of this is in light. The only thing really in the dark is Australia and these islands. And this is an actual reading from August 13th. This is the light. So all of this has to be lit and just this has to be in the dark. Let's look at that on a flat Earth map. So the sun was right here. So I'm going to put the sun right there. We got a small local light and I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to lift it up. And we're going to look at the shape that it makes on the flat Earth map. Okay. So we got the sun just coming around here, kind of matches what day and night showed, right? So we match it. We got Australia and these islands are the only part in the dark, right? Remember, the sun is moving around. So now let's look at this on a globe. So I got a globe tilted. We got a single source light and we're going to spin it. So here is Australia. This pink right here is Australia. So I'm going to put Australia right in the dark, just like it showed on day and night. And then we're going to walk around to the other side of the globe to see what it shows. And we look over here. Look, all of South America is in the dark. All of America is in the dark. So let's spin the globe out to make it look like it did with California, just having sunrise, South America in the light. So there we go. South America's in the light. We're just about to have sunrise in California. And we walk back to the other side. And all of Russia is in the dark. So watch over here. I'm going to spin it out. All of this area that I'm about to show you should be in the light. All of that should have been in the light, but it's not. So it's impossible on the globe map, but it works perfectly on a flat Earth map.
Other questions?
So are you saying that the sun is a flashlight and it's flat?
Nope, I'm saying the sun, nobody knows what the sun is. It's a point of light in the sky. It's a point of light, point of energy, and it circles around our Earth. The sun that we see is what we call an apparent sun. So it's not the actual physical sun. The physical sun may be what's called in the firmament, but we're just seeing the lensing effect of it. So let me show you a quick example of that. So to triangulate the sun, it would be you can't do it because everybody sees the sun in a different position. So here is where is it? Here it is. So I divided my room with a blue sheet, and we'll just call that the sky. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Hold on a second. Where'd it go? Sky sheet. Here we go. So actually, this is actually interesting. I'm not showing you that yet. So here's the sun, right? And so I see the sun right here, right? Now my wife is over here on the side and she sees the sun from her point of view. She sees it over there. So if I moved over to her point of view, she sees the sun there. That's an apparent sun. At the same time she's seeing it over there, I'm seeing it right there. Right? So this is actually a flashlight. It looks just like the sun. So again, when you look into the distance, everything looks to be a sphere, but you can't tell what shape it is. For example, here is a train coming. This is actually a train, right? I could tell people, hey, this is the sun or moon. Everyone will guess one or the other. But when we look, it's not even a sphere. It's this. But when you go into the distance, it looks like a ball. I could have convinced you that this was the sun or the moon easily, but it's not. And it's how our eyes see. It's how everything gets pushed together, and it's basically how we see.
Other questions, AJ?
Have you attempted your light experiment with a light source that is a lot bigger than the globe? Like, because the sun is supposed to be a lot bigger than the Earth.
Well, they say the sun is 186,000 miles across. 186,000 miles across. That's just unfathomable. And somehow it's made of helium and hydrogen, and it's condensed in a space vacuum, which doesn't work. Open up a soda can, instantly it equalizes with the room. Gas pressure equalizes. So, on a small Earth, if you had a giant sun, sure, the whole Earth would be in light. But the sun is just right up. Go look at the sun in the sky. Next time there's a full moon or close to a full moon and there's some spotted clouds in the sky, go look at the moon in the sky and look at how it lights up just the clouds that are right near it. Like it's a very local light. It's not these ridiculous distances away that they want you to think, right? We look at the moon, it casts a shadow on the ground. I could read a book by it, but when I look at the sun shining on this shiny cement ball, how come it's not lit up like the moon? How come it's not fluorescing light at me, right? They tell us that the moon is a dusty, dirty rock, but somehow it's super reflective. It makes no sense. When you look at the alleged landing of the moon, they were there. How come it's not bright then? It's just a dusty, dirty ball. And there's so much evidence. We could spend an hour going over the moon and how you look at it through different lenses. The dark side of the other side of the moon is missing. This is a heat signature. How come there's no heat past the terminator line? Wouldn't it retain some heat? So, and we get stuff like this. This is what NASA gives us. This is the moon transiting the Earth from a satellite 1 million miles away. This is what they give us. How come it's not lit up? The sun's behind the camera. How come it's not lit up? Now, people can make all excuses. Oh, exposure. This is what they give us. Come on. South Park wouldn't even put this in there in an episode. It's ridiculous.
Let me, if you don't mind, let me follow up on that there.
Sure.
I know you have strong opinions on NASA.
Yep.
Are they helping or hurting us in terms of our knowledge?
Well, NASA is lying about everything. There's nobody in space. They have the National Buoyancy Lab is where they do all of their training underwater. And we've caught them with green screens. We catch them with wires, all sorts of stuff. People are like, well, what about the space station? There's so many screw ups on the space station. I don't even know which one to show you. We catch them hanging on wires. We catch CGI. We catch green screen fails. All sorts of augmented reality they use. Here's one where they were excited. They got some fresh fruit and they were playing with a lemon. All right. They're playing with a lemon. Look carefully at this. This is not a real lemon. Look how it merges into their hand. Right. I'll zoom in here a little bit. Look, that's not real. Think about it. That there's so much composite layering and trickery that they do. It's beyond. If you catch them faking once, then you have to know that it's all lies. It's all lies. Here, this is when they have a green screen in front of them. They're hanging from wires, right? And watch this guy when he moves his arm. All of a sudden, right here, it's going to reveal the green screen. There it is, green screen. If you know about how green screens work, this happens, and there's no excuse for that. They're using green screens, and they're using augmented reality. Here, this ball is real. It's filled with helium, but look here. That's augmented reality. That's not really there. Okay, that there's open source Microsoft programming that you can get yourself that has that same transition that they just had there. Those little streaks that came in. Again, on my app. Again, we don't have. We're running out of time, I think. On my website, flatearthdave.com, there's the crash course. The teacher has David's got some video links to send you if you guys want to learn more. But on the app, there is if you hit the question mark, which is the frequently asked questions, there's an ISS page. Amazing. You'll laugh your butt off if you don't cry. And there's also on the more resources page, there's all sorts of stuff about NASA. moon mission nonsense. Rockets are made with helium. Watch that. Again, it's a lot for you guys to take in and know that there's this much deception in the world. People are good people, and people that are good people have a hard time understanding the level of deception, but the level of deception is massive, and you individually can make a difference if you wake up to it. It's only you that give away your free will, because they can't take it from you. You have to willingly give it to them, and they always give you an opportunity to say no, but you have to be smart enough and aware enough to say no. So belief is the enemy of knowing. Belief is easy. You can believe that I'm nonsense and then leave this class and never think about it again. That's the least amount of effort you can do. But if you want to learn the truth, it takes time and effort and mental thought. You have to work out. You have to actually think. You don't have to just read something and say, okay, I got to memorize that for the test. You have to think about it, critically hold its feet to the fire, and test it and repeat it. Right? I've given you the resources. They're all on my website. They're on my app. There's plenty of free stuff on the website. If you take the time and look, it will change your life for the better. So there we go. How much time we have left?
Yeah, 8 minutes left here.
Oh, 8 minutes. All right. Good.
Question. You have another question.
If the Earth is flat, then why can't we see across like the Great Lakes or like very large bodies of water like that?
Yeah, great question. So if you and I were standing in front of each other and we had a piece of glass in between us, you'd barely be able to see the piece of glass unless there's like a reflection on it. But if we stacked 3 or 5 or 10 pieces of glass, it would get harder to see each other. And after like 100 panes of glass, we wouldn't be able to see each other, and you might not even be able to shine a light through it. It's called the attenuation of light. Light gets absorbed into the atmos, right? So here, I'll show you that. I want to show you this. Where did my camera go? So this is a shot. So we have we're here in Illusion, France, and we're looking out over the ocean, and just 175 miles away is Mount Canigou. 175 miles. It doesn't sound like that far, but according to Globe Math, from this viewing height, the top of Mount Canigou should be more than a half a mile below the curve. So when I say below the curve, it's behind the curve, so you can't see it, right? If this is the Earth, it's behind the curve, but you can't see it. But remember I showed you that the sun travels in between the two tropics? Twice a year, the sun lines up with the viewer and Mount Canigou, and as it goes into the distance, it goes beyond Mount Canigou and it backlights it, because the sun has strong enough light to push through 175 miles. The light bouncing off of Mount Canigou is not strong enough to push through 175 miles. And we can see the whole thing. The top of the mountain should be over a half a mile below the curve. And we have other observations that go far beyond that, far, far, far beyond that. So we can see things way too far.
Yeah, another question.
I was curious, I was reading back to my notes. So earlier you mentioned the fact that we have telepathic connections that are being hidden from us. Do you want to talk more about that?
Well, they don't want you to understand that we're all connected, that your thoughts actually create your reality. If you look at your life, the way you think is the way that your life goes. If people go, well, I want to be a millionaire. I want a millionaire. Basically, what you're sending out there is, I don't have $1 million. I'm going to work for the rest of my life. I'm going to live paycheck to paycheck. That's what the energy that you're sending out. They want you to think that your thoughts have no power, and they do have incredible power. Again, on the old world section of the app, in the homeschool section, and in the old world section on the app, both of those, there's lots of videos that get into that stuff. But you'll see in your life when you're connected and you are thinking clearly and you are in a high vibration, if you will, not to be new agey, but you're in a high vibration. When you think of something, it manifests much faster than when you are in a fear, in a state of fear. Fear is a low vibration. Fear is false evidence appearing real. FEAR, false evidence appearing real. That's how they control you. Because if you live on a globe, asteroids are going to come and get you. Nuclear war is going to come and get you. We're running out of resources. We're overpopulated. Climate change. All of that is mind control. All of it.
All right, Brady.
Who is they?
Great question. So they are the people that the they for us are the people that that we see that, but I don't think that they are the actual controls of the world. Those are the puppets um, I'm just trying to pull up a graphic here when I'm talking. Those are the people that we see, but they get their marching orders from other people. Like all of our leaders. Where is my thing? All of our leaders in the world at the weirdest time go to Antarctica, right? They go to Antarctica, and then they disappear for a couple of days from the base, never saying where they were. Then they appear back at the base, and then they go home. And to me, I think that's where they're getting their marching orders from. So when I say who are they, found it. These are maybe you've heard of some of these, but you don't really hear about much. The news doesn't talk about it. The Council of Foreign Relations, the United Nations, who have a flat Earth map as their logo. Take a look at it. The Bilderberg Group, the Club of Rome, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, and the Trilateral Commission. These are the people that we know that run the world, right? But they're getting their marching orders from a higher power.
So the round table, you are the ones who are kind of the masterminds.
Those are the unelected officials that make all the policies for all of the governments in the world. You don't even realize that. I mean, these are the people that get together at these meetings, Davos and Bilderberg, and they literally, the corporations are running the world, and then they're dictating to all of the governments what to do. So again, the way they control a community is divide and separate. They divide us by countries, by religions, by races, by sexual preferences, by sports teams, by everything. They divide. And that's how they keep us, not working together. When you look at how come China and Russia never ratted us out on the faking the moon landings? Well, it's because they're all in on it. It's all together, right? All of the companies that run the world, I say countries, all of their space programs are to literally control the population. The reason they talk about outer space is to make you believe that you live on a ball. And because without it, they lose control. All of those blue dots I showed you on the app, all of those people have disconnected from the matrix, and it's the matrix of control, right? The movie The Matrix has a lot of reality into it. I'm not saying that we're plugged in like that, but our minds are plugged in into a false reality. If you play on their ball field, you have to play by their rules. And if you play with their monopoly money, right, you are controlled by them. Right? People don't even know where food comes from. You think it comes from the grocery store. You can take a seed that your grandfather put in a jar 100 years ago, stick it in the ground. Water will fall from the sky, the most precious substance on earth, and food will come out of the ground. Right? So they have us completely disconnected from who we are, where we are, and what we are. And people will fight to protect that, to remain a slave. They'll be like, the earth can't be flat. All right. What's the radius of the earth? What's the circumference of the earth? How did they figure it out? How far is the sun? What is the orbital speed? You don't know any of those questions because they don't want you thinking about it because they don't make any sense.
We're just about out of time. We do want to thank you for presenting to us.
Thanks. Last statement is don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything you find on Google. Don't believe anything. Look for the information. I'm providing it all on my website, flatearthdave.com. Check it out and then verify it yourself. Verify it yourself. The list that David's going to give you is some great videos. Turn off Netflix forever, or just a week, and start watching these videos. And you're going to be fascinated. You will never be bored for a second in your life after watching these videos.
Good. Yeah, we got a lot in there. Good. That was a lot for the kids to think about. So.
Was I going too fast? I could
No. This was. There's so much to cover. So that's
all right. So I'll just do the basic intro, beginnings of flat Earth, and then you can ask more questions again.
Yeah, let's. I thought that worked well. Sure. I thought, some of the questions I saw were kind of repeated questions, and then open it up for the kids to ask questions. So.
Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this interview, please help support my work and help wake up others by referring or gifting the app to at least one person today. By doing that, you're going to help wake people up and help me to continue doing other interviews like this. With the censorship out there that's going on, it's very difficult to find relevant information. And the app, as you know, brings people to the truthful information of our world. So help support my work, help support your efforts in waking up friends, family, and strangers. Gift them the app or just recommend the app. And let's make 2025 the year Flat Earth breaks free. Check the links below for information on how to gift the app or just refer the app to others and use your referral code to earn Dome cryptocurrency and a free subscription. Thanks.